The truth is that your protest that you think is oh so important is in fact completely meaningless because you don't even know what the hell you're talking about. I'll give you an example. You interchangeably call Barack Obama a socialist and a fascist. Because apparently you don't know that the political philosophies of fascism and socialism are complete opposites.
A YouTube user by the name of GWorksNell in a video response to TJ said that TJ, you ought to stick to atheism and blueberry pie because that's all you know. And that statement that you just made makes what GWorksNell said more prophetic than ever. The naivete of that statement shows that perhaps you are a little too smart for your own good. Now, to say that fascism and socialism are opposites is only to scratch the surface of what socialism and fascism are. And so nobody does it. So nobody has to go in and quote the definition of fascism and socialism. I'm going to read them for you. The definition of fascism: a government system with a strong centralized power permitting no opposition or criticism, controlling all affairs of the nation, industrial, commercial, etc. That is from the American College Dictionary, New York Random House, 1957. Now, socialism defined: a theory or system of social organization which abdicates the vesting of ownership and control of the means of production, capital, land, etc., in the community as a whole. Now, if you just read the definitions and just look at that, you'll say, well, yeah, they're opposite. But you put it into practice, and it comes to where they're not opposite at all. The main thing about fascism is the strong central power and the strong central control of everything. Now, socialism, and I know TJ, as a self-professed anarchist, you'll probably be well versed in the theories of Marxism and the writings of Marx. So you'll know that the ultimate goal of socialism is the gradual dissolution of government. But when you put it into practice, what happens? The central government becomes all-powerful. The central government becomes the community. The central government is what controls the means of production, not the community as a whole, which makes it very similar to fascism in that sense. So that may not be enough for you, TJ, so I'm going to read some quotes from some very well-known fascists. And then you can tell me whether or not fascism and socialism are similar, or at least not opposites. The first quote: I have learned a great deal from Marxism, as I do not hesitate to admit the difference between them and myself is that I really put into practice what these peddlers and pin pushers have timidly begun. I had only to develop logically in what social democracy repeatedly failed in because of its attempt to realize its evolution within the framework of democracy. National Socialism is what Marxism might have been if it could have broken the absurd and artificial ties to democratic order. That's from Adolf Hitler. Now I'm going to read some more. We demand profit sharing in big business. We demand broad extension of care for the aged. The government must undertake the improvement of public health. We must combat materialistic spirit within and without us, and are convinced that permanent recovery of our people can only proceed from within the foundation of the common good before the individual good. That is from the Nazi platform in 1920, from February 24th, 1920, the Nazi Party platform. Sounds like socialism to me. In fact, Nazi means National Socialist. So, you can't really say that fascism and socialism are opposite. Now, you went on to say that to call a man who is neither socialist nor fascist both of those names is, I think you said, idiotic. Well, to say that he's not socialist or fascist is just absurd. The man obviously believes in a socialist agenda. And you asked, well, exactly what rights is he trying to take away? Well, let's see, he's trying to take away the First Amendment through the Fairness Doctrine and through diversity mandates by his his FCC chairman. He is trying to increase gun laws, which will infringe on the Second Amendment. He is trying to take away the right of the people to use their property in a manner which they see fit through cap and trade. And he is also trying to take 16% of the nation's gross domestic product over for the government. And if you don't believe that what he's really trying to do, listen to his own words and the words of other people of his ilk.
But I don't think we're going to be able to eliminate employer coverage immediately. There's going to be potentially some transition process. I can envision a decade out, or 15 years out, or 20 years out.
I happen to be a proponent of a single-payer universal health care plan. A single-payer health care plan, universal health care plan. That's what I'd like to.
I think if we get a good public option, it could lead to single payer, and that's the best way to reach single payer.
You see, TJ? In their own words, that's what they want. Single payer. Single payer. This is the good public option. Is the best way to get to the single payer. So, it's taking over 16% of the gross domestic product of this country. You can't argue with that. That's what they want. How can you do it? You're wrong on this one, TJ. You're just wrong.